In the middle of Nevada's barren wasteland, where the air shimmers with heat and silence stretches for miles, lies a place that doesn't officially exist. A dry basin surrounded by mountains, a scar of asphalt, fences and dust, hidden in plain sight. They call it Area 51. To most, it's just coordinates on a map. 37 degrees, 14 minutes north, 115 degrees, 48 minutes west. But to others, it's the epicenter of every secret the world was never meant to know. No one stumbles upon it by accident. The closest highway is miles away, and signs warn that deadly force is authorized. No trespassing, no questions, no answers. At first glance, it's nothing but desert, a mirage of nothingness. But somewhere beyond the mirage, the sand hides history, and the sky above holds stories no government has ever willingly told. For decades, satellites caught glimpses of strange shapes parked on its runways, aircraft that didn't exist anywhere else, lights that moved faster than any known jet. At night, locals reported glowing orbs slicing across the desert sky, silent, geometric, and impossible. To the curious, it was proof of something beyond comprehension. To the government, it was merely classified. But every mystery has a beginning, and before the name Area 51 became a legend whispered by millions, it was just an anonymous dry lake bed chosen for one purpose: to test the limits of what mankind could create and conceal. Because here, in the heart of Groom Lake, innovation and secrecy became indistinguishable. Every invention left a shadow, and every secret a story. The story of Area 51 begins not with aliens or conspiracies, but with fear, the kind that defined an era. In the early 1950s, the world was divided by an invisible curtain, the Cold War. The United States needed eyes in the sky to watch the Soviet Union without being seen. And so, in 1955, the CIA turned to a man whose name would become synonymous with impossible aircraft: Clarence Johnson, head of Lockheed's Skunk Works division. Johnson's mission was simple and impossible: build a plane that could fly higher than any radar could reach, faster than any missile could catch, a machine that didn't officially exist. The result would become the U-2 reconnaissance aircraft, and it needed a place to be born, a testing ground far from public eyes. Johnson found it while scanning aerial photos from the Atomic Energy Commission. In the middle of Nevada, he noticed a dry lake bed, flat, remote, and surrounded by restricted airspace. It was called Groom Lake. By July 1955, the site was chosen. Temporary housing was built for 150 men. Runways were carved directly into the salt flat. The base was given an innocuous name on the map: Area 51. To those who worked there, it became simply the ranch. In the beginning, it was nothing but dust and ambition. Pilots flew experimental aircraft under code names. Engineers worked 12-hour shifts under the desert sun, knowing they couldn't tell their families where they were. Even the mail they received was routed through fake addresses. Everything that entered Area 51, from equipment to personnel, disappeared from the world until it was cleared for existence. And the first flights of the U-2 in 1956 set the stage for a new era of secrecy. Flying at 70,000 feet, it could see across continents. From above, it photographed missile sites, nuclear plants, entire cities, unseen by the people below. But secrecy always comes with a cost. Each unexplained light streaking over Nevada became fuel for rumors. Civilians spotting the sleek silver U-2 at dusk thought they'd seen something not of this earth. And perhaps that was convenient, because while the world speculated about aliens, the government's true secrets stayed hidden in plain sight. The myth of Area 51 had begun, not as a cover-up of the extraterrestrial, but as the perfect camouflage for human invention. As the U-2 soared into the stratosphere, it carried not only cameras, but the seed of something larger, a new breed of secrecy. Each success pushed the boundaries higher. Each boundary demanded deeper silence. By the early 1960s, Groom Lake was expanding. What began as a handful of hangars became an entire covert city, funded by budgets that appeared nowhere in official records. Here, engineers tested the unthinkable, aircraft that blurred the line between technology and myth. The first of these was Project Oxcart, the codename for the A-12 reconnaissance jet, a machine so advanced that its very existence seemed impossible. Built from titanium, a metal so rare it had to be secretly purchased from the Soviet Union, the A-12 could reach Mach 3.2 at altitudes above 80,000 feet. To radar operators, it appeared and vanished in seconds, leaving only streaks of light. Locals called them silver ghosts. To pilots, it was the closest humanity had ever come to flying a thunderbolt. Then came the SR-71 Blackbird, its descendant and public mask. While the world admired the SR-71's design, few knew its older sibling had already haunted Nevada skies for years. When civilians reported saucers moving faster than sound without a trace, the Air Force quietly smiled. Those sightings were their own. By the late 1970s, Area 51's runways saw shapes that defied aerodynamics. The angular, black, radar-absorbing frames of stealth technology. The F-117 Nighthawk, born under Project Have Blue, was invisible not only to radar, but to the public record. Its first flights carved glowing triangles across the night sky, triangles that the world would later swear were UFOs. Inside the base, innovation lived in darkness. Every breakthrough left a mirage in the air. Every rumor outside provided cover. When someone claimed they saw a disk of light hovering over Groom Lake, that story traveled faster than any classified memo ever could and served the same purpose. Because sometimes the best way to hide the truth is to let people believe in a lie far stranger. By the late 1980s, Groom Lake had grown beyond secrecy. It had become legend. But legends attract seekers, and one man would ignite the most controversial chapter in the history of Area 51. His name was Bob Lazar. In 1989, a local news station in Las Vegas aired an interview unlike any other. A man, face hidden and voice distorted, claimed to have worked inside a facility near Area 51 known as S4. He said he'd seen things no human should have. 9 metallic discs stored in hangars carved into the desert mountain. Crafts that could bend space itself. When he later revealed his identity, the world erupted. Lazar described the physics behind the alleged propulsion system, something powered by an element unknown to science at the time, element 115. According to him, it generated its own gravitational field. He spoke calmly, logically, and with the precision of someone who had truly been there. To millions, it was undeniable. To the U.S. government, it was absurd. Reporters tried to verify his background. They found nothing.
No employment records, no education files, as if Bob Lazar had never existed before he spoke. To skeptics, that proved his story false. To believers, it proved it true. Meanwhile, documents and testimonies began surfacing. Former workers hinted at underground facilities, compartmentalized project, and craft not made by human hands. UFO sightings near Groom Lake exploded. Dozens of locals reported glowing spheres hovering silently over the desert. Footage emerged, shaky, grainy, but powerful. And while skeptics dismissed the images as hoaxes, something undeniable happened. Area 51 had crossed from rumor to obsession. For decades, the government had denied its existence entirely. Now, people wanted more than denial. They wanted disclosure. Bob Lazar became the symbol of that hunger. He claimed he was silenced, followed, and threatened. He said his work at S4 ended when he asked too many questions about the technology, about where it came from. He never said aliens. He said non-human craft. The story echoed across the world, transforming Groom Lake into a new kind of mythology, one where science met secrecy and belief met paranoia. Whether Lazar was a fraud or a prophet mattered less than what he represented: the first crack in the wall of America's most guarded secret.
For almost 60 years, the U.S. government denied what everyone already knew. Area 51 existed, but officially it didn't, until the truth finally slipped through the cracks. In August 2013, after decades of speculation, the CIA quietly declassified over 400 pages of documents. Among them, for the first time in history, appeared two words once forbidden: Area 51. No dramatic press conference, no official apology, just a quiet PDF on the National Security Archive website. Inside the documents were maps, flight logs, and project summaries, confirming what had long been suspected. Groom Lake had been the testing ground for the U-2, the A-12 Oxcart, and other high-altitude reconnaissance programs. No mention of extraterrestrials, no S-4, no Element 115. Just decades of human genius hidden behind barbed wire and silence. But for many, the admission only deepened the mystery. If this much had been denied for 60 years, what else still remained buried? Satellite images revealed more than the documents said. Over the years, analysts had watched the base grow. New hangars, longer runways, expanded perimeters. Each addition came without explanation. Every expansion meant a new secret. For some, this was vindication. For others, misdirection. Because when a government that once denied a place exists suddenly admits it does, the question changes. It's no longer, is it real? It's, what are they still hiding? Whistleblowers claimed the declassified information was the tip of an iceberg, a strategic distraction. They said the CIA released old data to protect newer, more advanced projects, hypersonic aircraft, autonomous stealth drones, and experimental energy systems decades ahead of public technology. And in the silence that followed, Groom Lake returned to doing what it did best: hiding in plain sight. To this day, its perimeter remains guarded by men without insignias driving unmarked white trucks. No one outside the fence knows what they protect, but everyone inside knows what it costs to ask. In the 21st century, the greatest paradox of Area 51 is that it has never been more visible or more secret. You can trace its runways from orbit. You can count its buildings, measure its shadows, even monitor the movement of vehicles through open satellite maps. And yet, no one outside its gates truly knows what happens inside. Technology, once the guardian of truth, has become part of the illusion. Every few years, new satellite photos appear online, analyzed by experts and amateurs alike. Each photo shows change: more hangars, longer airstrips, fresh roads leading into the mountains. It's evolution without explanation. Researchers note unusual heat signatures at night, suggesting powerful engines being tested beneath the sand. Theories multiply: next-generation hypersonic aircraft, autonomous stealth drones, or something even beyond that. The name Aurora surfaces again and again. The rumored Mach 6 aircraft said to have replaced the SR-71 Blackbird. The Air Force denies it exists, but so did they once deny Area 51 itself. In 2017, leaked documents hinted at collaborations between Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, involving propulsion systems beyond current understanding. No specifics, just enough to keep the world wondering. Meanwhile, locals around Rachel, Nevada still see strange lights carving silent paths through the night sky. Some move in perfect geometrical patterns. Others hover, then vanish in less than a second. Phones shake, cameras blur, and the line between science and imagination blurs with them. In an age when satellites can expose almost anything, Groom Lake remains the exception. It adapts. It conceals through misdirection, through layers of decoy projects, and by letting the noise drown out the truth. Because when everyone's watching, the best place to hide is in plain sight.
For decades, the letters UFO lived in the shadows, a forbidden phrase whispered by believers and ridiculed by officials. But beginning in 2017, the silence began to break. That year, the New York Times published leaked videos captured by U.S. Navy pilots, objects moving faster and turning sharper than any known aircraft. One of the pilots, Commander David Fravor, described what he saw as a tic-tac-shaped craft with impossible acceleration. The Pentagon was forced to confirm that the footage was real. What followed was something unseen since the Cold War: official acknowledgement that unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, were being investigated. A new office was created, reports were released to Congress, and classified briefings took place behind closed doors. But in the public imagination, all roads led back to the same desert. If the U.S. government was now admitting it didn't know what these objects were, then where, people asked, were they being studied? All eyes turned once again to Groom Lake. Inside the community of researchers and whistleblowers, whispers returned of a deeper connection. Claims that recovered materials, and perhaps entire crafts, were stored not at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, as once believed, but in hidden vaults beneath Area 51. No proof, no photos, just stories and patterns of secrecy too consistent to ignore. Skeptics argue the timing is no coincidence. They believe the UAP disclosures serve as a distraction, a convenient myth to shield cutting-edge human technology under development at Groom Lake. After all, a UFO sighting attracts curiosity, not espionage. Yet even within government reports, a strange admission persists. Objects that defy known physics. Radar returns that appear, disappear, then re-emerge miles away in seconds. And so, Area 51 stands once more at the center of a global riddle, half laboratory, half legend. Either it hides the greatest technological leaps of mankind, or something far older and stranger. In both cases, the truth is the same. We are not being told everything.
Night returns to the Nevada desert. The wind sweeps across Groom Lake, carrying dust, history, and questions that refuse to die. From above, the base is a constellation of faint lights, hangars glowing softly, runways stretching like scars across the earth. No sign, no flag, no name. Just a silence that feels intentional. Area 51 has become more than a place. It is an idea, one that lives between the known and the forbidden. A mirror reflecting our deepest instinct to look toward the horizon and wonder what we are not supposed to see. For every declassified page, there are 1,000 still sealed. For every official statement, a whisper in the dark says otherwise. And for every truth revealed, new questions rise to take its place. Perhaps the real power of Area 51 is not in what it hides, but in what it makes us imagine. Because mystery is control, and secrecy is the currency of power. The less we know, the more we believe. So the fences remain, the cameras watch, the desert keeps its silence. And maybe that's the point. Not to conceal the extraordinary, but to remind us that even in a world mapped, scanned, and recorded, there are still places where the unknown survives. If truth is hidden, perhaps it's because the world isn't ready to see it. But for those who still search, the path is open, and it leads ever deeper into the hidden mist.